Hello, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Infinity Graphics Design Development Series third round here at the beautiful virtual Belle Isle Park. I'm Ty McIntosh, joined by my broadcast partner Cameron Rich, with Chris Wright on the control for you guys. And for those of you that are not too familiar with where we are here tonight, we are in Belle Isle. Just a couple track facts on this 2.35-mile street circuit. 13 corners make up this beautiful circuit that sits beautifully on an island on the Detroit River. The circuit hosted the Detroit GP for IndyCar from 1992 all the way up until most recently in 2022. So it's a pretty well-known circuit for people that are in the open wheel fan base, but not too much for us on the oval side. But nonetheless, we are going to bring the action to you. Cam, it's our first road course of the season, so it's going to be a learning curve. I think these guys are going to be in for a little bit of a steep uphill battle, especially if they haven't ran this course before. But do you think they're up for the challenge?
Absolutely. I think you're completely right. We started the season with two 1.5-mile intermediate ovals, Texas and Atlanta, and it's definitely a big change. But I don't think it's any surprise of the drivers we're seeing up at the front right now. Caleb Pekumer, of course, points leader coming into tonight. Just obviously going to be pretty quick no matter where he goes. And a lot of the top five were in the sports car series. So we'll go ahead and get the grid rolling here.
On the pole is going to be somebody who won the first race, Caleb Pekumer. To his outside, it's going to be Logan Helton, but we might have an EOL there for driver number 62. Starting third, it's going to be Austin and Abnett in that Lake Norman machine. To his outside, Cale Pocock. Corey Abbott's going to be fifth, Dylan Javier sixth, Seth Rawls seventh, eighth for Noah Brown. It's going to be ninth for Davis Braun, 10th for Pete Morales, Frank Foti 11th, Rishav Khosla in 12th. Going down the grid, 13th Dylan Slepian, 14th for Pierce Hausler, 15th for James Watson, 16th for Dave Carpenter, Mark Revilis 17th, 18th Andrew Hardcastle, 19th Dave Huckleberry, 20th for Sam Boutwell, and I believe Cam can take the rest.
21st is going to be Scotty Larson, 22nd Ryan Borges, 23rd is Scott Eckrich, 24th Paul Bunchletters, Michael Atchik. Starting 25th is Jimmy Hayden. Surprised to see him all the way back there. He's been one of the front runners up at the ovals so far. Jaden Racimus in 26th. 27th is Harrison Talion. 28th is Josh Osborne, and Rice Foti, he's going to be in 29th, the last driver on the grid.
So just a little bit of a change here for what we're normally used to. 60-minute format tonight, 3 sets of tires in the pits for these guys. Going to be a little different than the lap distances we're used to, but pretty common here in the Elite Racing League. So I believe Logan Helton is going to end up getting an EOL for, unfortunately, an improper banner. I think Cam is working on that with him right now. But this is a track I'm also not too familiar with, so I will be learning with you guys at home. I'm going to do my best to call the action. I think that's the only advantage that I have, is that race cars are still race cars. So that's going to be pretty good. See the field getting ready to roll here. Some tight corners here. You see the turtle, the little rumble strip right there. These guys are going to have their hands full. The opening laps are going to be pretty interesting. See these guys jockey for position. Really just tight, packed like sardines. I think we're going to see who's going to make the most mistakes. Unfortunately, this is the Dev Series, so these guys don't really have the pressure of trying to fight too hard. Those that are here for wins, like Caleb Pekumer, he's going to push for the win. But some of these guys just trying to get their clearance to get to the other series. So we are getting ready. I believe we are headed towards the front straightaway. Lights are off on the pace truck. Pace truck's going to take a hard right turn as we are going to head with one more corner to go to the front straightaway. It might not even be a corner. I'm not even totally sure, to be honest with you. Caleb Pekumer is going to lead us in. Logan Helton to his outside. And we are green. Caleb Pekumer with a pretty good start. Logan Helton going to hold it pretty even with him. Side by side as we head into one. That tight right-hander. Everybody looks so far so good. Oh, Caleb Pekumer with a little wiggle. He's going to go out wide. Here comes Austin Abnett. Cale Pocock. Corey Abbott. A little bit of contact there from the 62 of Logan Helton. So that's got to not be too good for Caleb Pekumer. So they're going to go into turn 3 now. Oh, Corey Abbott. Contact with Dylan Javier. Everybody's going. We're good. A little bit more close contact.
I had a bit of an issue there, but we got 3 wide going in here. A bunch of contact going through turn. I believe that's 6 right there.
Sees that Andrew Hardcastle
Oh, I think that's a big wreck right there. We might see any yellow. Not something he's going right
See, everybody looks pretty good right now. Logan Helton's still your leader by a good little bit over Austin and Abnett. Austin and Abnett closing up to the back of him. You see top of your screen there, Jimmy Hayden, Jaden Racimus. They're going to go side by side through a lot of these winding rights and lefts, full of tight corners here. Caleb McHumor rebounded just a little bit. He's still, I think, just inside the top 10. Obviously, that contact with Logan Helton did not help at all. I'm sure Caleb is probably seeing a little red right now. Everybody else that's involved in that. Seth Rawls, though, a pretty big leap right there for him on that opening lap. He started 7th. He's going to be up to 4th. Caleb McHumor is actually 5th. I thought it was a lot further back than that, but good to see that he's not too far back. Biggest movers after that lap. See Cale Pocock rocking the Greg Biffle throwback, showing some respects to the Biff. He sits in the 3rd position. Biggest movers after one lap with all that chaos. Dylan Slepian went from 13th to 7th. James Watson went from 15th to 9th. And not too many big other ones other than really Ryan Borges went from 22nd to 5th. So he did not set a qualifying, not 22nd to 5th, 22nd to 15th. Sorry, that would have been a huge jump. He did not set a qualifying time, so he's already seen the advantages of that, maybe not getting involved in that chaos. Not really a battle for the lead right now. Logan Helton's still a pretty decent gap back to Austin and Abnett. Not too much, though. So we're going to see Austin try to put the pressure on him. Caleb McHumor with a big move on Seth Rawls back there to take away the 4th spot, to try to. Now he's going to get it done. So Caleb McHumor back up to 4th, sets his sights on Cale Pocock for 3rd. And I would imagine, hoping sooner rather than later, he can get up there and try to get around his Lake Norman teammate and Logan Helton for the lead.
No surprise, all these drivers up here. Something I had brought up right before we had gotten into the grid here, but top 5 drivers in tonight's race currently, all drivers that race in the sports cars. So definitely a lot of experience here going right and left in the top 5 right now. And definitely something you hear a lot. This is actually a pretty interesting road course in the way to drive. Not right here is about the longest straight you can get, and it's a pretty slow speed track, but the most of the corners are not 90-degree rights like you'd normally kind of expect at a street track. They're actually mostly kind of open and wide, so there is a little bit more room here than a normal street track, but still those walls are very, very close, and they will end your day in a hurry.
Somebody else putting some distance, trying to get into the top 5. Noah Brown, he started 8th. He is closed up to the back bumper of Seth Rawls. He's trying to give him a fight, but meanwhile, battle for the lead. Austin and Abnett got real close to the back bumper of Logan Helton there, but not too much going to come of that. Logan's going to pull away all the way down the straightaway. Not really a straightaway. It's more like a, something we see at like Spa.
Yeah, Abnett get really close here through the backside of the. Actually, going to give the bumper to the 62 right there. We saw the insides of that race car. A little bit of fuel cell and suspension action. Might need an NSFW tag. We'll see a little bit more of that. But yeah, Abnett definitely putting a lot of pressure on that 62, and I believe that is a teammate to the 59 of McHumor. So McHumor probably enjoying that, considering, like you said, I think he's not too happy with the 62 after the start of the race.
Yeah, no, and teammates like that, they're going to communicate. So I'm sure he knew the second the contact was made. Probably saw it, actually. It happened right in front of him. So I'm sure that's in the back of Austin Abnett's mind. Logan Helton pulls away just a little bit. Caleb McHumor not really made any distance up towards Cale Pocock, so everybody's still pretty spaced out. Oh, we got a car around Paul Mikulicek.
So looks like a single car incident right there, and he's going to, well, rest in peace, Paul. He's going to go ahead and tow back to the pits, and was quite a bit of damage on the car. Not really sure how hard or what he hit. Definitely a wall and another car of some sort. But
yeah, I just went and took a look at it. He got loose in that right-hander, slid the car sideways, hit the tire barrier, caught it with the rear end. It put him right in the middle of the racetrack. Marco Bialis and I think it was Pete Morales managed to just kind of squeeze by. It was actually Jimmy Hayden. However, Harrison Talon unfortunately hit him. Paul got out of the way as quick as he could. Nobody else got too much damage. It was a little bit of chaos, but everybody's fine now.
On the screen right now, that number 66. 2003 era throwback to Greg Biffle That's Kel Pocock, another one of the sports car drivers, doing a good job right there. Kind of just right behind that battle for the lead right now between Inabnet and Helton. But he's in a pretty good spot right now. Right around where he started the race, actually has gained a spot, but probably just liking what he's seeing in the windshield right now. Because sometimes, it is kind of, you can go up there and battle for the lead and all that, but sometimes it's better just to lay back a little bit and save your stuff. I have seen Kale in the sports cars, and he does quite do that a bit. So we'll see a little bit later on this race. Quite a bit of time left, about 55 or so minutes. Definitely going to need a pit stop, but we'll see how these drivers' tires and everything else fare.
Yeah, I think another thing to mention that we do have the 3 sets of tires. These guys, from what I can tell, car doesn't look out of control, but a little bit of a wiggle for Cale Pocock. Right as I was going to talk about it, you get loose right there when you're trying to hit that transition, and you just it flicks into the corner, and so now not only is that tire wear for Cale Pocock that I was going to talk about, that's also some left side damage. See the left rear of that thing a little bent up. It's going to be under pressure from Seth Rawls too, so we'll have to see if that's going to inhibit his speed at all.
That is not something that you want to have here too, especially any type of suspension damage. I would have to think he's got at least a little bit in the rear of that car with how hard that hit was and how severe the angle was. But any type of suspension damage is really just going to hurt how the car drives. And with all the curves and corners you have here, it really makes for a miserable day. So hopefully not too much for Kale. He was doing a good job. You can see that left rear corner. It is quite a lot of damage there, relatively speaking. But he is able to at least drive the car away and hang on for now. So, it definitely could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, and it looked like it might have been a 2-tap. When he hit it, he might have hit the front end as well. So I don't see too much on the front end, if anything. So he looks all right for right now. Out front, though, Logan Helton has pulled away by about 1.3 seconds over Austin and Abnett. About the same back to Caleb Pacumer from him. And obviously, Cale Pocock about 2.4 seconds back from Caleb Pacumer after that little incident. But so far, so good for the 62 machine. See the times right there. You see Austin and Abnett was a little quicker for the first 2 laps. Logan Helton pulled a little, or no, that's slower. Sorry. So he was slower on the first 2 laps, just barely quicker than Logan Helton, and now he was about 8/10 slower on lap 5. So starting to see the pace kick in for the 62 and maybe wear off for the Austin and Abnett machine.
Down here into the front end of the track to, I believe that is, actually that's the back half of the track. We're going to come back onto the front half. Ooh, somebody was in the wall there. I think that was a Nabnet right in the 60s.
Oh, it was.
Something big happened to him.
Oh, wow. Okay, well we just need to stop talking about people, Cam. I think that's the problem.
I think so. Let's see what happened here. There was a lot of smoke, and I see some damage to the left rear. And I just lost in a braking right there. Just right around she goes. You could see the front left brake rotor was glowing, so he was hard on the brakes there. Might have had a little bit too much rear brake or just stepped out from him there. But that is front left rear damage. That's going to hurt the way that car drives, too. It's actually hits right now.
Pretty significant there. It wasn't as... I would say his tails was smooth, but it was certainly not that quick, and it maybe wasn't that violent as he kind of ended up stuffed in the barrier there. So he's going to bring it down to pit road for service. That's going to put the lead even more firmly in Logan Helton's hands. About 2.4 seconds back to Caleb Pacumer at the line, and then 4 seconds back to Cale Pocock, who is under pressure from Seth Rawls and Noah Brown. So that's going to be your first battle on the racetrack position-wise on the leaderboard. A little bit behind that, though, I believe Dylan Slepping and James Watson are having a little bit of a scrap.
2 cars right here that have actually both gained quite a bit of spots. Dylan started 13th, James back in 15th. So both of them have about cut that deficit in half to lead there. Now in 6th and 7th, respectively. I'm not going to say it, so
don't do it.
We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Resist the urge, but yeah, good little battle here. Here, the hardest braking on the track, 63 of Slepian, a little bit sideways, keeps it, and that is so close to the wall on the outside there. You just have to, that's one of the good things about, I remember this track from, ooh, that was sideways right there. I remember this track from the IMSA days where you just really had to keep your car as close to the wall as possible. That's where the speed is, so for lack of a better term, you got to have some balls to find speed at this racetrack, and the closer you get to the inside and outside walls, the more it's going to be there. So it is a battle of, it's kind of like the old adage of them saying flying a fighter jet in a gym. This is quite like that. So even with this curved front stretch, it feels so much narrower and slower than it actually is. But you are hauling some tail down into turn 1 here, so these drivers are having to use a lot of driving tonight, and a lot of wheel and pedal work.
Especially with all the carnage that we've seen. I mean, we've had good moments as we see, I believe that is the 15 of Davis Braun putting some pressure on Pete Morales. We saw these guys have trouble in the braking zones. And you talk about, like, as close to the wall as possible. These guys are trying to push the limits as hard as possible too, and try to make sure that they're getting as much speed out of it. And there's not much room for error here at Belle Isle. This has been relatively, from what I've seen so far, a less forgiving racetrack than we're used to, especially on road courses like Watkins Glen or even Sonoma, where there's not really walls as close if you run off the racetrack or you want to run wide. So, yeah, it's definitely more punishing. As we got, I believe that's Bryce Fody with a little bit of an incident there. Not too much damage on the left side of that race car. Right side seems to look okay. Maybe just a spin. Able to not take out Marco Bailes, so good on him for that. Knew it was going to happen, went low, and then keeps it out of the tire barrier. So an attaboy to the 80.
And Ty, that's the moment where if you're Marco Bailes and you're seeing that kind of happen, you just drive because if it doesn't take you out, it's here's this view right here. It's a spot that's not going to be lost by him, and going to be a lot harder for Bryce to make that move from now probably about 4, 5, 6 seconds back, rather than 2, 3, 4 tenths.
Oh, 100%. I mean, Mark always says time to die. I'm sure he wasn't really wanting to think that in his mirror, but I'm sure that's what popped into his head. As we look towards the front of the field, Logan Helton has about a 3-second lead now over Caleb Akumer, so he's pulled that away. Caleb Akumer's also pulled away from Cale Pocock and Seth Rawls and Noah Brown. So those guys have started to spread out. Not too much going on at the moment. Chris, what do you say we do? We do a crank it up with our race leader. Oh, never mind. We don't have that. All right, my bad. Sorry to get you going.
Yeah, the budget cuts affected our crank it up. So. Right here, looking at Dylan Slepian in the 63. He has pulled away from James Watson just a little bit. The gap is now about, we'll call that about 5 tenths rather than about 2 as it was before. So Slepian doing a good job here. James Watson, one of the more established road course racers that we see here on the Elite Racing Network. 63 sideways, putting power down. Not going to hurt him too much there, but make it interesting for the viewers there. See the rear end kick out a little bit. That's always fun to watch. James Watson, seen him a lot here on the Elite Racing Network. Very good road course racer himself, and good job up there in P7 right now. He's usually going to be found in the open wheel type stuff, sprint cars, pro Mazdas, things like that. So Fender's not usually, I wouldn't say his first parade, but he isn't quite as good at them. So good little run for James Watson, and I just got to say, I love these cars. They're always very easy to spot on the racetrack, so I can appreciate that very much.
Gotta love the bright color combo. To Dave Huckleberry right there. One driver I want to note that had a problem, Scott Eckridge. Another driver with trouble there at the braking zone. You see he's on pit road. That car is destroyed. He's going to be out of the race, I think. That thing took a pretty good beating. So another driver that struggled a little bit with the braking here, which seems to be the big deal right now. I think as these tires get even more worn out, it's just going to happen more and more. See Andrew Hardcastle on your screen right there. Currently sitting 26th.
Yeah, Eckridge, one of the drivers who had a strong run last week in Atlanta. Didn't have the finish. He was involved in a late race scuffle, but he did lead some laps and was a front runner there. So definitely not the way he wants to. Oh, Bryce Fody in the wall again.
There was contact that time.
no shortage of fun here a little bit further on back. This is battle for 18th place with Price and that was 16th, 17th or so right there. So no shortage of fun around this racetrack. Another photo on the screen there. That is Frank. He is currently in position number 16. A little bit of damage on that machine. So a lot of these drivers have gotten some corner of their racetrack or a race car into the wall here. This 8 car right here of Harrison Valley actually looks pretty clean. I don't see too much damage there. Maybe on the right rear there. 57. That's Dylan Javier. He was running a P8, just spun out. I believe that's turn 3 or so. Some damage on the left rear of that car. Looks like he just completely lost it there under braking. And yeah, just car did not slow down and took the evasive maneuver of trying to not get into the wall there. So
look through the field, see who we got battling right now. Caleb Humer's closed in just a little bit on Logan Helton. He's actually done a lot more. It was 2.4 at the start of the lap. Now it's down to 0.8 seconds. So battle for the lead might be on here shortly as they head back down the front straightaway.
This will be fun too, because race car drivers never forget, and we're 17 minutes into a race. So we've got about 17 minutes ago, these two had some contact. So you got to think Caleb Kuhmer's probably been driving with a little bit of fire under that helmet, and well, you see the driver that did you wrong, it does make it quicker. At least for me, because I tend to be a head case sometimes, especially when somebody does me wrong. But you know, it does help you kind of focus your driving a little bit when they're right there. So I think Kuhmer, yeah, he smells the blood, and right, he's getting really close to those walls right now.
I mean, you saw at bottom of the screen there, 7/10 quicker the lap before, 1.7 the last lap. Looks like he's probably going to be about half a second quicker this time by the time we get back around. So he's seeing red.
Seth Rawls had a little bit of a half spin just a minute ago. No harm, no foul. He lost one spot to Noah Brown.
Oh, they both actually had a moment. Battle for the lead. Caleb Kuhmer is going to be all over the back bumper of Logan Helton, but mentioning Noah Brown and Seth Rawls, they both locked up and missed the corner, but no damage on either machine. Logan Helton right now through. Oh, these guys are getting tied to the wall, Cam. Golly.
Oh, yep. Noah Brown and Seth Rawls both look like they're good to go. Caleb Kuhmer looked like he tried to cheat death there, and he did for just a little bit. Lost just a little bit of time to the back of that number 62, but I definitely think right now the 59 is a little bit quicker right now. It's just how much does he want to tempt fate and keep smacking the rear end of that car on these walls, because eventually something's going to happen. We do have a couple of lap cars in front of these two drivers too. It looks like Scott Eckridge and Dave Huckleberry out there. Eckridge we saw with a lot of damage just a little bit, and he did get back on the racetrack. Surprised they were able to fix it like they did, but they did.
Some pretty noticeable damage on the left front of that 62 there. You see the left front fender just in front of the General Tire logo. That thing's pretty beat up. There's a huge chunk out of that thing, so I'm starting to wonder if that might be affecting his handling here.
Yeah, definitely. It is going to. If it is going to affect you, it is going to affect you when the tires wear out. Ooh, oh my goodness, that is going to not affect, or that's not going to help at all. Front end of that car gone. That was huge contact with the 52 of Dave Huckleberry. My goodness. Well.
Yeah, it looked like Logan was just trying to maybe put the pressure on Dave to get by him, and Dave felt the pressure for sure. Maybe was trying to give it to him without putting himself in the wall, but there wasn't a whole lot of room there. So there goes the bumper of the 62, and I'm sure he's not happy, but Caleb Kuhmer might be giggling a little bit in that 59 machine.
Well, we know one thing. There is no cooling issues for that 62. Plenty of air going to the front end of that machine. But it doesn't seem to be affecting him too incredibly much. I mean, it's only really been a half a lap so far, but the car still turns, the car still kind of drives. I mean, that's more than I would expect in its current, visual state. So he's going to be going very defensive here into turn 3. I don't know how that's going to fare for either of them. I think Caleb might need to pick his battles here. Yes, he does. I don't think it's worth fighting that too much, considering he is missing the entire front end of that machine. But definitely great for the viewers, this stuff right now.
Yeah. Oh, Scott Eckrich with more trouble.
Oh, my goodness.
Out of the
Wow.
way. Holy moly. We're good. Everybody's fine. A little bit of a jump scare for these guys, though, especially in a blind spot kind of deal.
That happened so quick. He just spun out and then was right there. And, oh, my goodness. That could have been the end of both of the races right now. So there's a lot going on the racetrack.
Caleb Akumer all over the back bumper of Logan Helton once again through this section. There was a little bit of drama there last time through. Caleb going to just try to pick him off somewhere else. I think he knows that at this point he's going to get raced hard. Maybe doesn't want to put his race at risk for it. So we are about a third of the way through this thing. So you'd hate to get damaged like the 62 does. Bumper to the back of him.
That's something that that's something that Caleb can do to Logan, but Logan cannot do to Caleb. So considering he does not have a bumper.
Here he's got a shuffle. No, we're fine.
There's something happened to the 8 of Harrison Talion. He lost on the back half of the racetrack, hit a wall, and then lost the front end and lost. Ooh, the front end actually went under the car and prevented him from turning. So I think that the 62 of Logan Helton, he's lucky that didn't happen to him. Battle for the lead here. That's going to be tight. I think that's actually going to be clean. Caleb's on the inside here, so he should have the advantage. But it's going to be tight.
Try to fight it. That's getting crazy here. Left-hander here now. Still everybody clean, giving each other room. You love to see it.
Oh, this is good stuff.
Helton's going to have to let him have it. There wasn't enough room for two of them to make that corner the right way. Caleb's going to take the lead for now. I don't think Helton's going to have much with no front bumper on that thing. So
certainly not. I'm
he's
surprised
force
it's running.
the issue.
No, that's not going to work. Nope. And wow, Caleb did a great job seeing that happen and taking a wide line, because if he took his normal line, he was absolutely getting spun.
Yeah, he would have been like some spinach in front of Popeye. That would have ended well for him, but he's all good. They carry on about probably a second lead back to Logan Helton. Cale Pocock has closed in on these guys so much while they were fighting. He has had no mistakes other than the obvious. See everybody try to get through here. Helton into the tire barrier. That's race maybe not over, but certainly, yeah, that left front tire. The toe's knocked out.
Oh, yep. It's not spinning anymore, and that's a meatball in the 62.
That is race over for Logan Helton.
It's a good job while it lasted to keep it on the racetrack without the front end, but yeah, I didn't know how long that was going to last.
So we are about a third of the way through. Maybe we can go ahead and take one of our ad breaks right here while everybody's a little bit spread out.
Tickets for the 2026 Season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 and Celebration of 66 Festival, June 6th and 7th. The NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th. And the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to WWTRaceway.com.
It's the year-end sales event at Tom Bowlen Ford, and the deals have never been hotter. Right now, get 0% financing on Escapes, Explorers, F-150s, and Transits. That's right, get 0% on some of Ford's best-selling models. Plus, save big with huge discounts. And don't forget, most new and used vehicles come with the Bowlen Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. It's the savings event of the year, but only at Tom Bowlen Ford. Tom Bowlen Ford Hannibal, heck of a deal, ain't it?
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pick-me. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Oh, well, welcome back in a big way. Pete Morales and the 54 of Reshab, they're going to get together. The fact that we were on them when that happened is kind of insane. But welcome back, folks, to Belle Isle for the Detroit Stock Car Grand Prix. Caleb Akumer still your leader. Cale Pocock second. Noah Brown third. Seth Rawls fourth. Dylan Slepian fifth. That's your top five. Big damage on that 95 machine. The right side of that thing is beat to shreds. A little bit of contact with Rashab. I think Rashab got away a little bit better than he did. Pit stops are underway. Seth Rawls brings it down pit road.
Yeah, thankfully no big damage for those cars. They just kind of bumper carred into each other and drove away. But yeah, was definitely interesting to come back to that.
Seth Rawls brings it off the pit road. Going to be interesting to see how the tire strategy works. You know, normally the undercut is a little better, but for somebody like Caleb Akumer, who seems to have gotten better as the tires have gone on, you have to think that the undercut might be where you want to go, or the overcut.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
that's also a good point. We don't really know the fuel number in these things just yet. Are they pitting because they have to, or are they just undercutting the one stop? Can they still make it? Probably not. In my opinion, I would think so. That they would have to pit one more time, but we're not quite sure. Cale Pocock.
It's definitely definitely weird that some would not go 30 minutes into the race if they could, but I think now that we are a minute and a half away, I think Caleb is going to make it. So
yeah, unless maybe Seth felt like he was a little bit better on the short run and could maximize that pace being in clean air, but can still make it to the end. I don't know. I would imagine, like you said, that if you could make it from halfway, that you would go halfway, but I also think that Seth wouldn't pit this early if he knew that he couldn't make it. So I don't know. I have to wait and see how that shakes out. Dylan Javier on pit road.
some of these drivers have weird minds. They think weird things sometimes. I definitely, when I'm out there racing myself, I'm not the brightest bulb in the bunch, so we'll be the first to admit that. We'll see how it works for Seth. He is back out on the racetrack, back in P9 currently. So we know he has speed. He's been pretty quick. Started in P7, got himself up to about, I believe it was 3rd or 4th. So some speed in that car.
Yeah, I know he and Noah Brown had that little bit of a scuffle that they both had. Speaking of Noah Brown, sitting in the 3rd spot. I think Seth was 4th at the time of pitting, so to fall just to 10th is not too bad. So I'm sure he's feeling pretty good about his current strategy so far. Cale Pocock sitting 2nd. He had some issues. Obviously, the left side of that thing went into a tire barrier and the wall momentarily, but he's carried on. I don't think there's anybody in the top 10 that hasn't had at least a little bit of a moment.
Well, here's the leader having a moment. Not a bad moment. He is pitting. So right about halfway, we are 30 minutes and 11 seconds as he was in the pits. So it's going to give the lead temporarily to Cale Pocock. Expecting to see him probably in next lap. There's Noah Brown coming in. So yeah, I really don't think anyone has had, in the top 10, has had a clean race. Maybe the 15 of Davis Braun right there. He started 9th, has kind of had a quiet race. Haven't really talked about him too much, but that's a good thing right there. Guy Caleb Pecumer back out on the racetrack. No penalties I'm seeing on my end for him, so a clean pit stop.
Seth Rawls working around Corey Abbott right now. I think that's one of the last cars to pit. Corey Abbott hasn't pitted yet. I know Dave Rawls was the first to pit, so have to see how that's going to work. Pocock should, given the strategy and how everybody else pitted, he should be coming this time. I think we're getting towards the end of the lap.
Some chatter from the 21 of Corey Abbott that he's using some colorful language to describe his car, specifically the damage he has on it. So he's been having a bit of a struggle. He's been one of our top 3, top 5 drivers for both races so far. So into the pits he comes, and we'll see if they can get it fixed up. That is actually Cal Pocock.
It's our leader, yeah. Corey Abbott is getting to that point, just about there. He's got pretty significant left front damage. It was actually Seth Rawls who started that conversation, telling him that he was a little broken. So we see Davis Braun, he's going to take the lead. Caleb Pecumer just behind him, so we'll see how Cale Pocock stacks up. Noah Brown's going to take, I believe, the 3rd position away. Or the net 3rd. Seth Rawls going to remain 4th, so that strategy didn't do too good for him. Got him right back to where he was, really, but we'll have to see how that shapes out. Because I think Corey Abbott has not pitted, so I would imagine Corey Abbott pitting soon, unless he has, and I'm just a silly goose.
I'm not seeing that he has either, so should be coming coming pretty shortly. I think that on his lap chart, I'm not really seeing that he would have pitted, so definitely those tires are pretty old on it.
He has not pitted. Cale Pocock just pitted, so we'll see that graphic update for him. Davis Braun has not. So the only driver in the top 10 that has not pitted, well, the only 2 drivers in the top 10 who haven't pitted, Corey Abbott, Davis Braun.
Davis Braun with a little bit of damage on that left front as well, so see if they can pop that out once he comes in finally. Wondering if it's going to be this time, because I don't really know how much longer they can go on this tank.
Battle for 3rd right now. Technically 2nd once the leader pits. Cale Pocock, Noah Brown, 2 guys that have already had some moments, really, in the identical corner as well. So they've both had some trouble there.
Oh, Pocock! Wow.
Cale's going to be under fire from Noah Brown. Already getting gapped by the leader, Mr. Caleb Pecumer.
Oh, that was a big crossover on the front stretch there.
Cale's going to almost hit the tire barrier. He might have a lot more damage than we thought he did. Did. Can't speak right now. Noah Brown's going to get the 2nd spot away. Caleb Pecumer is 12 seconds away. Hearing Cale say he tried to check something and his keyboard got stuck, he couldn't get it to come up. So that's not what you want to hear from a driver, but nonetheless, he sits in 3rd. Noah Brown 2nd. Caleb Pecumer 1st. Rest of your top 5, Seth Rawls, Corey Abbott. Corey Abbott has not pitted, so keep that in mind. Dylan Slepian 6th. James Watson 7th. Davis Braun 8th after pitting. Dylan Hibbier 9th. And Jim Hayden 10th at the moment.
I hear Noah Brown saying he's got the one and only Daniel Gore as his spotter for tonight. Not seeing them spotter and iRacing. I'm assuming they're probably in a Discord call together, but definitely not a bad pick to have showing you around a racetrack here. So it's working well for Noah. He's 13 seconds behind the leader, but up to P2, so a strong run and something that Noah he needed desperately coming into this night. He's not really had a good run in either race so far, so good to see him doing well tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Danny G, obviously. Noah Brown's not a slouch on road courses either. We haven't really seen him run in the elite racing league, but in other places where he does run them, he's been really good. So this is not surprising for us to see him running inside the top 5 and on the podium. It's just another day for Noah Brown.
Just another day. We'll see if he can get the transmission together. He has had issues with that in some other times we've seen him be broadcasted, but keep it together. Corey Abbott finally comes down pit road, 35 and some change minutes into this race, and they will service that car right inside the 80 of Bryce Fody. See if they can pop that damage out on the left front a little bit, maybe get that car driving a little bit quicker. But yeah, Corey Abbott started 5th, back in 8th. I don't know if they changed tires. Looks like it might have been a fuel-only stop for the 21. So interesting call there. That's
pretty quick. Yeah, I mean he was 8th when he came in. He's going to leave 10th, so I would have to guess that is a fuel-only stop there for the 21. See just behind him somebody who's had a little bit of trouble, Austin Abnett. He's still fighting on. I think he is a couple laps down, so he's not full position. See Pete Morales on your screen. He had some contact with Rishav as we came back from break. And everybody has had quite the night, I would say, especially our leader, Caleb Pacumer. Lap 1, turn 1, contact with the 62. Fights his way back from that. Now has a 14-second lead, so he's doing fantastic. The 62 is now out of the race. Noah Brown started pretty deep. Well, no, not too deep. He started 8th. He's at the 2nd. Cal Pocock had an issue. Like, everybody has had an issue. It's just, we're just seeing these guys that have been able to take their issue and kind of nullify it and push through, which is kind of what the development series is for.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the hang of these stock cars there. There's some damage on the left or some right front of the 39 James Watson, but you know, this is not a stock car track, so these drivers and really no drivers. Ooh, James Watson, I think he cut the wall there a little bit. That's going to be probably position, and he is absolutely broke there. He's going to lose that option 15 of Davis Braun and maybe some more because that car is not going to be able to turn very well up here in turn number 3.
Trying to get it woed up. It's going every which way on him.
Oh my goodness! That's well, that's race over for the. As we were talking, has the commentator's curse been bad tonight, or we just I don't know.
No,
Every time
it
we're
has.
talking about somebody, I think it's been something.
We mentioned problems or a car number or a corner, and things go awry for somebody. So, unfortunately, though, that's kind of our job. So we can't really stop doing that. Just whoever's putting the bad juju on it, cut it, please. We can't do this anymore.
14 seconds out front for the 59 of Pacumer, and we brought it up both weeks so far. I think I'm going to bring it up a third time. The pink Porsche-inspired design of that machine, and very apt for this type of race. I mean, that car did run on road courses in Europe back in the 1970s, I believe it was. So why not a American road course here in 2026? But it's a great-looking race car. I love the color pink. I think it's underutilized on race cars, and it is definitely very fast as well. And I think being fast makes any race car look better, as well. So at 59, definitely looking really good out there tonight. He is doing nothing but extending the lead at this point, and looks like he's not even really pushing it too hard. So probably just a Sunday drive for these last 20 or so minutes of the race for 59.
We are about to the 2/3 of the way done break. We just run down your top 10 one more time. Caleb Pacumer, your leader. Noah Brown, 2nd. Cale Pocock, 3rd. Seth Rawls, 4th. Dylan Slethor, 5th. 6th for Davis Braun. 7th for Dylan Pavir. 8th for Jimmy Hayden. 9th for Corey Abbott. And going to be 10th for Rishav Coleslaw. So we're getting to the cutting board time here. If these guys are going to try to make a run at Caleb Pacumer, they're going to have to figure it out now. I can't say that they're really going to have any luck because Caleb seems to be locked in tonight, but pretty big gaps between a significant amount of the top 10, top 15 really. 14 seconds between our leader and 2nd, about 2 seconds there from 2nd to 3rd. And then you've got a flip of a coin on who's how far back from where. So everybody's kind of spaced out. So I don't think we'll see a yellow at all, but you never know.
You do never know. And yeah, Shop Kosler right here, one of the drivers who has persisted. He's running about where he started. He started 12th, is now running 10th, so 2 spots gained. But that car looks like it's been through a war zone. It is about 2-3 inches narrower than it probably was coming out of the shop, but he is still out there. And yeah, doing a good job out there. You know, he's keeping it on the racetrack, keeping the wheels on the asphalt, not really hitting the walls right now. He has hit them before, but you know, it is all about learning here in this series. There is the 95 of Pete Morales making a move on the 22 of Andrew Hardcastle, not for position. Hardcastle is 7 laps down, and I believe Morales is also a lap down. No, he's not. He's at the tail end of the lead lap, but you know, definitely there is a lot of learning here tonight. So that's really what it's about. It's just it's a tough car track combination. Issues there for the 61 of Pierce Hausler. Just a half spin, no harm, no foul. I don't think he actually hit anything either.
Everything's so far so good. Everybody's kind of been quiet on the radio, so that would make me think that we haven't had any issues. As you see Noah Brown, who has done his best to hold the gap as tight as he could. I don't think it's increased too much, so I think he's starting to figure it out on old Caleb Pecumer. See Jimmy Hayden, Dylan Javier, they just had a swap per position.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to that 24 of Jimmy Hayden, one of the drivers that he's been quick in both races so far. Actually crashed in qualifying, so he started all the way back in 25th, and probably wasn't too happy about that, obviously. But you know, obviously putting his head down here tonight and just doing what he needs to do to get some points and get some positions. And he said he's all the way up to 7th, and that's not an easy task on a track like this, especially with no cautions or anything of the sort. It's definitely he's putting in some work tonight.
So we're about 15 minutes, or about towards the end of 15 minutes left to go in the race. We'll take our second ad break, and when we come back, we'll take you to the end of the race.
Tickets for the 2026 Season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 and Celebration of 66 Festival, June 6th and 7th. The NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th. And the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to WWTRaceway.com.
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing picture. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
It's the year-end sales event at Tom Bowlen Ford, and the deals have never been hotter. Right now, get 0% financing on Escapes, Explorers, F-150s, and Transits. That's right, get 0% on some of Ford's best-selling models. Plus, save big with huge discounts. And don't forget, most new and used vehicles come with the Bowlen Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. It's the savings event of the year, but only at Tom Bowlen Ford. Tom Bowlen Ford Hannibal, heck of a deal, ain't it?
Back here with 15 minutes remaining in the Detroit Stock Car Grand Prix here at Belle Isle. Caleb Pecumer is still your leader by about the same gap. It's not stretched out too far. Noah Brown hasn't cut into it too much. So we see Caleb Pecumer going to close up to the back bumper of his Lake Norman teammate, Frank Fody. About a quarter of the way left here, Cam, and I would have to say that this has kind of gone the way that I expected it to. You know, we'd have some guys break away, a little bit of carnage, but not enough to really to warrant a yellow.
Absolutely, and no surprise seeing Caleb Pecumer run well here at the front. I think our top 5 in points was Pecumer, Thomas, and Abnett, Slepian, and Abbott. And really, Caleb Pecumer, with this kind of a run, is going to gain a lot of points on those other drivers, Johnny Thomas especially. Well, he's not, talked to him last week, he's not even in the running for the championship. We're not going to see him for a couple more months anyway, so right there is the standings. It was 1 point between Pecumer and the rest of the field. If it stays this way, it's going to be quite a few points between Pecumer and probably would be at this point Slepian up to P2. It's only 4 points right now, but Slepian back in 5th, Pecumer currently leading. That would be 5 points plus the bonus points, I believe, there. So Pecumer doing exactly what he needs, and of course he was your winner first time out here at the Texas Motor Speedway. So showing that he can drive on all types of tracks here, 1.5 mile intermediates as well as these street tracks.
Something to note with the points, you talk about the gaps that we're going to see. Second in points other than Johnny Thomas was going to be Austin and Abnett. He's had a really rough day. The incident that he had, I know Pete Morales has had problems. Obviously, Slepian in 5th is fine, but Corey Abbott's going to be down in 9th after this. So there's going to be a pretty big change up in the points. Obviously, you mentioned Johnny Thomas not going to be here for a couple months, which he talked about. Oh, Caleb Pecumer with a little bit of a wiggle. That was almost big. In that same trouble corner, it stepped out on him just a little bit. It was enough to say that it was out and enough for him to slow down. So I'm sure he's probably gonna feel that and maybe try to pace himself a little bit more.
On your screen, Austin, but he was your P3 starter here. Actually crashed the car pretty hard. I believe it was somewhere on the first half of the track. He had to actually get that car towed back to the pits, but on account of just staying on the racetrack, he's passed quite a few cars here and has gotten himself up to the 16th spot. And maybe if the 5 of Scott Eckridge has some problems, or maybe someone else in front of him, Ryan Borges actually is. So Austin Abnett is going to be 15th here in just a few laps. He's on the pit road right there. So yeah, I mean, that kind of shows you right there, even if you have some problem, it's not always just kind of hopeless. There's always points to gain, and a lot of times those points do help. So yeah, Austin Abnett doing what he needs to do to stay in this championship hunt.
Looking at it right about now, I think Noah Brown might have actually cut in just a little bit to Caleb Pecumer's lead this lap. Obviously, I need to stop mentioning names. He was sideways on the corner entry. I heard the tires squeal from here. But yeah, he cut into it just a little bit. He just gave that gap right back up there with that little bit of time lost. But seems to have evened out with Caleb. I don't think that there's going to be a lot that he's going to be able to do unless something significant happens. But there is 10 minutes left, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, you would think that Caleb Pecumer backing down with that big of a lead, but he is running about, I'd say about 5/10 quicker than Noah Brown last lap. So he's not really running a bad pace, just kind of looks like he is, I would say he's kind of taking it easy too, but he was sideways as well. So Caleb Pecumer, I think, not really, I think he's just trying to, I think the best way to put that is when you get into a rhythm, when you get into a pace, you really just need to run that pace, not run quicker or slower, because that's kind of where you start making mistakes as a driver. So Pecumer probably just running his natural pace right now, and that be whatever it is, the 133.716 last time around, compared to Noah Brown's 134.4. So that's quite a significant lap time gap right there. Caleb Pecumer is, I'd say, he's locked in.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw it at Atlanta too. There wasn't a whole lot that was going to take Caleb Pecumer away from the victory there, and today he looks a lot more determined. Obviously, he didn't have the same racetrack that he had, or the same circumstances. Which, I mean, we saw what happened to him in turn 1 earlier in the race. So he's fought through. Cale Pocock's also fought through everything he's fought. Seth Rawls has just had a really quiet day. I think he's probably been the guy who's had the quietest day. We haven't talked about him having any contact with the wall, contact with anybody else. He's been just pretty smooth.
Yeah, that car is clean, Ty. Doesn't have a whole lot of damage on it, maybe not any, and really is kind of more more of a hard thing to do than some of the other things to do here. Really, just keep that car on the wall and keep it clean. That's almost more of the battle than actually passing cars on track at a place. So Seth Rawls doing a great job out here just to well, right there, he's scraping it a little bit, but still looks pretty clean.
See all the rubber that's been put down in this race so far. Corners like that have been the trouble corners. We've seen a lot of it. As that looked like Frank Fody, or is that who's that? That's Dylan Slepian. It looked like he was headed for the wall there. I guess that's just the angle, or is that just how close everybody's getting? Because Jimmy Hayden just did the same thing. So these guys are getting as close as they can and driving this thing on the edge. Which, as somebody who's never seen a race here before, this has made me kind of intrigued to see what it looks like in real life. I would hope that maybe we would get a NASCAR race here, but I doubt it. It makes me wonder and wish, however.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Chris just broke my heart.
Yeah, I was going to say that unfortunately this layout does not exist anymore, so we won't see any type of race cars here, but thanks to iRacing, at least we can see it here. And objectively speaking, I think the new track. Ooh, Seth Rawls. There's probably his first big issue of the race.
We gotta stop talking about people. We have to stop talking about people. This is bad.
But just a little half spin there, right off into the runoff, and he got it immediately going again. So I mean, like a 3-4 second loss. Not anything too big. No damage on the race car. Just a little bit to the ego, a little bit to the rear tires.
Not enough to lose a spot. That's the important thing.
Absolutely. He's only about a second in front of that 63 of Slepian now, so we'll see if that maybe gets us a battle here pretty soon. But knowing Seth Rawls.
That's actually a really good point there. First one to pit was Seth Rawls, so his tires are probably cooked, so he's going to lose the position, I would have to imagine, to the 63 here. I don't think he's going to be in danger from Jimmy Hayden, but especially after that spin, you talk about the tire where he put on, he pitted with, I would say, probably about the 28-minute mark, somewhere through there. He's probably put almost 30 minutes on these tires. He's got to go 7 more, and he also just put a half spin on them, so those things are not happy.
Absolutely are not. I'm showing, well, actually, it's only a lap difference between Rawls and Slepian when they pitted, so at this point, I think having Slepian behind him versus some other cars is probably the best case scenario, but definitely, yeah, those tires, you can tell by the way it's driving, that is not happy whatsoever, and he's going to lose a little bit more time here to the 63, and in the wall there, that's going to be a little bit of damage.
Doesn't look too bad. Then again, you can't really tell. The car's all matte black, so you're gonna have to really get a good look at it. I didn't do anything. Seth, if you watch this replay back, I want you to know that I didn't start the downfall of anything. This is just, there's somebody out there with bad juju. I mentioned your name twice, and here we are. That's not my fault. As you see, Dylan Slepian is now getting a lot closer. So we'll have to see. I don't think the left front looks too bad. I don't see any noticeable damage. Dylan Slepian is closing in on Seth Rawls.
In these composite bodies, you can beat on them a little bit more than the old steel bodies without getting some serious damage and things like that. So Seth, I think he does look pretty all right, and he does have the fact that catching a car is one thing, passing a car is another. He's got that on his side. So Slepian, there's not a lot of room on this racetrack, and there's really not a lot of passing zones either. There's not really the hardest passing zone is probably out in turn 3 or so. Turn 3 or maybe backside of the track in turn 8, I believe it is, maybe. But yeah, they're not really a hairpin type corner or something like that. Where a serious dive on something like that. So Seth just really needs to keep his line focused here, keep hitting his marks, and he should be more or less all right.
With about 5 minutes to go here so far, your top 5 has not changed in a while. Caleb Pacumer, your leader. Noah Brown second. Cale Pocock third. Seth Rawls fourth. Dylan Slepian fifth. That's your battle on the screen. Jimmy Hayden sixth. Davis Braun seventh. Dylan Javier eighth. Ninth for Corey Abbott. And 10th for Rishav Kosla. So not much of a change there at all. I think the biggest change really was Corey Abbott, who after pitted maybe went from 10th and got back up to 9th. I think that was about it.
Yeah, big mover there. Corey Abbott, I mean, he did say he had a lot of damage back a couple laps ago. So yeah, just keeping his car in the game is really all it's about. Same for like Rishav Kosla. That car is absolutely destroyed, but he's running there in 10th and keeping it on the racetrack. So we only have 11 cars on the lead lap currently. It's Pete Morales back in 11th, a minute and a half behind the leader right now. So that means he's going to get lapped here probably this next lap. That's about a half a straightaways work right there. So probably we'll have 10 cars in the lead lap here before too long. But 4 minutes to go. I'd say that's probably going to be about, what, 3 or 4 laps? 3 laps probably?
Yeah, we'll get about a minute and a half. Leader's going to cross the line probably that minute mark, I would say. So we'll get pretty close there. As you see the gap there, not much change that lap. Seth was able to hold it together, less than a 10th quicker for Dylan Slepian. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Looking at everybody else, and he talked about the biggest mover of the race. Jimmy Hayden started 25th. He's 6th right now with about 4 minutes left. Dylan Slepian started 13th. He's up to 5th. So 2 guys who made some big moves, 2 teammates. Have been the talking point for passing a lot of cars. Dylan Slepian's going to try to pass one more.
Yep, and probably the hardest one he's going to have to pass all race. That 25 of Seth Rawls. I've seen him here on the Elite Racing Network a few times. He's not always the easiest car to pass. He will race you for it, and he will race you hard and usually clean fair for it, as they both lap the number 52 of Dave Huckleberry for an 8th time. But yeah, Seth's not just going to give it up here. Slepian looking, not going to be able to make it right there. Seth all sideways and hanging the rear end out, but keeping the speed in the car and doing what he needs to do. Those rear tires are absolutely going to be absolutely junked after this race, and probably put towards something like a tire barrier. They're not really good for tire use anymore. So he will be happy to get out of that race car and keep it out of the wall here, I'd have to say.
It looked like Dylan Slepian might have also caught a little bit of the wall there too, so maybe not as much as Seth did, but Dylan kind of leaned on it just a little bit. Seth's going to be able to keep that gap, I would say probably about the same. We're going to see the time right here. Actually 2/10 behind with Slepian that lap, so or is that, I get confused sometimes. Is that saying that Slepian's quicker or slower? It's slower, right?
Slower.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm a little slow sometimes, so I just have to make sure that I'm looking at it right. 2
Green is
minutes
quicker
to go.
and orange is slower.
Green good, orange bad. Got it. 2 minutes to go. It looked like Slepian might have almost got some tire barrier there. He's pushing hard for this position. Caleb Pecumer is right now, I think, about to get to the start-finish line one more time. So we're going to be looking at maybe, depending on how it times out, one more lap, I would say. Is this going to be the white for Caleb Pecumer? It is. White flag for Caleb Pecumer. This will be the last lap. It's going to be 38 total.
59.
Yeah, he's, the lap 1 incident, he fought through that. Obviously, had the Logan Helton incident happen right in his lap. He was able to stay clean out of that. So a well-deserved victory for Caleb Pecumer if he holds this together. Meanwhile, Dylan Slepian all over the back bumper of Seth Rawls. Maybe a little bit of wall contact there. These guys are going to make it come down to the wire. They have about a lap left. They haven't quite got there yet. They're about to. So white flag for them is going to be right here. About a lap behind Caleb Pecumer. Or half a lap.
This is the best battle on the track right now. Really the only one on the track right now.
Yeah, everybody else is not for position or spaced out by a couple seconds. Caleb Pecumer coming through this last chicane here. A couple more right-handers, and he's going to be on his way to victory lane.
Yep. What a run for him. Just kept his cool and kept composed after being kind of nerfed out of the way on the first lap there.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to talk about a dominant run after something like that. Caleb Pecumer just kind of put the number down. He's going to be the first repeat winner of the 2026A Infinity Graphics Sims Development Series. Caleb Pecumer wins here at Belle Isle. Noah Brown is going to get second, a little bit after. Get a look at the battle for fourth right now. I don't think anything's going to change unless they shake it up. They still have about half a lap left. There's Noah Brown coming across the start-finish line to take second. Cale Pocock's going to get the last podium position. And your battle for fourth, I don't think anything's going to change. That's a pretty big gap. Coming to the last corner, Slepion's going to put it in the wall. Seth Rollins will finish fourth. Dylan Slepian fifth. Jimmy Hayden not too far behind them. He's going to get sixth. Davis Braun's going to bring it home seventh. Dylan DeVere's a little beat up. He's going to add a little bit more to it. That's okay. He's going to bring it home eighth. Yeah, that thing's it's barely hanging on. It's bouncing. Austin Abnett's going to get side by side. Oh, he's almost going to spin it across the line. He's going to get eighth. Corey Abbott ninth. And I think Rashad Colslow doesn't have anybody around him. He's going to bring it home 10th. And while we let him finish, we'll go ahead and let everybody else finish. We'll take our last ad break, and we'll come back with our driver interviews with our winner.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Now let's hear about Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pick. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand toward victory lane. Don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
Tickets for the 2026 season of Speed at Worldwide Technology Raceway are on sale now. The Bommarito Automotive Group 500 and Celebration of 66 Festival, June 6th and 7th. The NASCAR Cup Series Enjoy Illinois 300, O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and Confluence Music Festival, September 11th through 13th. And the NHRA Napa Auto Parts Midwest Nationals, October 2nd through 4th. Save big by going to WWTRaceway.com.
It's the year-end sales event at Tom Bowlen Ford, and the deals have never been hotter. Right now, get 0% financing on Escapes, Explorers, F-150s, and Transits. That's right, get 0% on some of Ford's best-selling models. Plus, save big with huge discounts. And don't forget, most new and used vehicles come with the Bowlen Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. It's the savings event of the year, but only at Tom Bowlen Ford. Tom Bowlen Ford Hannibal, heck of a deal, ain't it?
All right, back here at Belle Isle, we have our top three in the interview waiting room, and I believe Cam is going to be standing by with Mr. Cale Pocock.
Yep, I got him right here. Cale Pocock, this is Cameron Rich up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep, how's it going?
It's going pretty well, man. Pretty interesting how your race went. You started fourth, finished third, had a couple beats and bruises on the car there in the end. Left rear, I think it was a little bit scraped up and didn't look great there, but tell us about your race from start to finish.
Oh yeah, that was a scary moment with the left rear. I'm glad Caleb was heads up and missed me because that would have taken us both out, and I'm just lucky that it bounced the right direction and went straight. But I was just racing the track tonight because it was pretty much survival, especially the way practice went. So I got kind of lucky with some of the wall hits because in practice I'd touch a wall and the front suspension would break.
Yeah, definitely a different beast than we've had the first two races of the season with the intermediates we've had. Kind of one of the talking points we've had all night was how close those walls were and just, how close the how close everything is to being race ending if you make a mistake. But what was the biggest challenge you had out there tonight? Really, I guess other than the other cars, was the braking difficult, or getting back on the gas? Was it for you?
Oh yeah, that braking zone into 7 was terrifying. It took me a while to kind of get that, and then like those right-handers, turn 6 and 12, where like you said, the wall's right there. So if you make the slightest mistake and push, you're in the wall. And then turn 12, as the race went on, it seemed like my car was getting a little tight through there. So that was probably the biggest section for me. You probably saw me hit the wall there, racing with Noah.
Yeah, definitely. But it was cool seeing that Greg Biffle throwback scheme out there running well tonight. And what a race it would be to have that car at Daytona, where he actually got his first win. I guess question being, are we going to see you at Daytona? And number 2, if we are, how you feeling about that one?
Oh yeah, you'll see me at Daytona. This is actually based off that Daytona winning car, so I'll probably switch back to my normal livery, and then at Daytona I'll bring this back out. But super speedways are always hit or miss. Usually I can work my way up to the front. It's just a matter of surviving.
Well, don't put it away too much just yet. We do have Daytona next week, so I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's next week. Never mind.
Yeah. Yep. So
I was thinking it was in Talladega spot later down.
Yeah, that was actually my first thought tonight when I saw your car. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if that ran at the front at Daytona? But yeah, definitely, it was a great run out there tonight. Always fun seeing that car run well. I was a huge Greg Biffle fan myself, so it is close to home to me. But before we let you go, any shout outs or sponsors?
Just shout out to everybody at Abbott, and this is for the Biff, and then hopefully, like you said, hopefully I can get it up front at Daytona and really win one for him.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the time, Cale. Great run out there tonight, and good job on the P3. We'll hopefully see you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right. Well, I think Mr. Ty has Noah Brown in the interview now.
I sure do. Noah Brown, it's Ty McIntosh in the booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Don't talk about my Buckeyes like that.
Well, unfortunately, they didn't do too good in their playoff matchup, but I'd say you did pretty good tonight. You started 8th. You avoided the chaos. Well, most of it. I think you had a little bit of a scare with Seth Rawls there in one of those heartbreaking corners, but otherwise a P2. I'd say that's pretty good for you, buddy. How does it feel?
Yeah, just consistency was my goal here. I knew there was probably going to be a wreck or two, so it was just run the car, take time to learn what the guys in front of me were doing through that first half, and then the second half just apply and be consistent. So just trying to keep the car clean this race is all that really happened.
Yeah, and we heard you had a little birdie in your ear. Okay, wow, I just totally. Yep, that's great. A little birdie in your ear. Thanks, buddy. A little birdie in your ear, giving you some tips. Obviously, somebody that's really good at road courses, Danny G. I don't know if you've ran here before. I would assume probably. Was he like a whole lot of help tonight as far as getting things in rhythm?
Well, half the race I was by myself, but he actually hasn't ran here before. I have run here in the IndyCar before. Not to really any fanfare, but I mean, I do know the track a little bit, so that helped going into it. But the real big help was watching people in front of me kind of make their way around. Usually, I'm a visual learner, so if I can watch someone do it, it's usually pretty smooth.
I'd say you were pretty smooth, all things considered. And I know this has been kind of a last minute entry for you, but anybody you want to shout out before we let you go celebrate?
Shout out Daniel, I guess, and shout out to the Elite Racing League for inviting me to the ARCA series.
All right, buddy. Well, I think we got Daytona next week, so I know you're pretty decent at plate tracks, and you will be up there
That's
at
a
the
lie.
front, causing some chaos. I didn't say you were good at like running good. I said causing chaos is what I was trying to get to, but that's okay.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Hopefully we'll see you next week and you'll run good. But other than that, we'll see you then, buddy.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
That was Noah Brown finishing second, and I believe Cameron Rich is going to be standing by with our race winner.
I got him right here. Caleb Pecumer. Yeah, we just dragged you up. This is Cameron Rich in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, win number 2 on the season, and that's a pretty good winning percentage out of 3 races. I don't think anyone was surprised to see you run well here tonight if we watched any type of sports car racing. But tell us about your night from start to finish.
Well, first of all, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. It means a lot. But the race was, obviously qualifying went great. I started on pole, so I was pretty confident there. I never really watched the start back. I felt like I tried to give Larson some room. And we got a little bit loose after he got into me, but we were able to save it. I just had to really fight for position while also managing my tires because this thing's just, blows the tires off of it. So, but really, he was so quick, Larson was so quick that I was kind of just banking on the idea that what would happen did happen, which is, he ended up getting some damage and essentially handed the lead over to me. And that was basically what did it for me. I kind of just ran a really smooth but quick pace from there. And eventually, we were chilling and here we are. So pretty stoked.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of drivers were having trouble with the tires in one way or another. Some were having trouble getting back on the gas after the slow corners, and some were having a lot of trouble with braking from high speed. It looked like a lot. That's where we saw most of our issues, was kind of in turn 7 and turn 3 or so. Do you have any real struggles here tonight with how the car drove?
Just no fault to the setup or anything. I think the car just drives tight, and then obviously with the power, it's really loose on exit. So you really got to have a slow entry to be fast in this car. And I think I was struggling a little bit on the exit of some of the corners, where Larson was really pulling away from me. As it just seemed like he had more grip out of the corners. Maybe a little bit of wheel hop on the downshift. You got to be careful with that. But other than that, no, everything went smooth, man. I'm happy to finish where I did. I was nervous probably halfway through the race. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, about 3/4 of the way through the race, we were kind of watching you, and you looked pretty smooth, calm, and collected out there. It looked kind of like a Sunday drive. So definitely, you were making tons of speed there. It might have not been that way in the cockpit, but the outside car it looked pretty good. So.
Oh, I'm glad that it looked like that, because it definitely didn't feel like that. So.
Fake it till you make it. It's what I've always said. Just
oh yeah,
swatting flies in there. It could be just everything's going wrong, but if it looks good, that's all that really matters.
Oh yeah. As I've always said, as long as you look like you know what you're doing, that's all that really matters.
Absolutely, yeah, that's more important than anything. But you've had a couple of really good runs up this week, and 3 weeks in a row you've been able to control your own destiny. But we are going to Daytona next week. How are you feeling about that one?
Well, I'll be the first to admit that my abilities at super speedway are not my strong suit, but I feel like, over the course of these few seasons I've been running in this league, things are starting to finally click for me, and I always have the help of Tyler and the guys at Lake Norman. So a couple of them are pretty good at the super speedway. So I kind of just feed off of, the knowledge that they have, and hopefully we do good. Daytona is always fun. It's a super speedway. Nobody hates super speedways. They're awesome. I just wish I finished a little bit better.
Well, hello, I am nobody, but anyway, I'll plead the fifth on that one. I think Ty would probably know that every time I talk about super speedways around him, it starts getting into old man yells at cloud type territory. But
just a little.
Yeah, just a little bit. But anyway, yeah, it'll be fun next week regardless. At least I won't be in the race, so it's fun to watch them. It's stressful as all hell to be in them. What I've always said, but
oh yeah. Oh, it'll have you shaking.
Before we let you go, any sponsors or shout outs you want to give us?
Of course, huge shout out to Bite Size Sports for sponsoring the car. Shout out to Jonathan Cutlip at DD Designs for painting this awesome pig scheme. Pink pig at a road course win. That's awesome. Shout out to all the Lake Norman guys. You know, Tyler, Austin, Dylan, Frank. You know, seems like, now I'm looking at it, I think we all, except maybe Bryce, we all got a P15 or higher, so that's good. Other than that, shout out to you guys. I always love watching these back. I'm definitely going to watch this whole thing. So other than that, I hope you guys have an awesome night.
Well, you as well. And thank you for talking to us. Congrats on the second win of the season. And yeah, hope to be talking to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Me too.
All right, Ty. Well, that was a fun one.
Yeah, I'd say, you know, it's kind of just what we expected. These guys were going to struggle a little bit. I think everybody had a moment at some point, but nonetheless, I mean, it's a developmental series. It's what these guys are supposed to do. Obviously, another good race from Caleb. I think he's definitely extended his points lead. And he, despite him saying that he doesn't have the greatest abilities at plate tracks, I think he's going to be just fine at Daytona. So I don't see that that points lead slowing down too much unless there's an incident outside of his control. But it's Daytona, so we'll see you there for that next week, Cam. Unless you have any other thoughts you want to add.
Well, no, just if you liked what you saw tonight, that was the only time you were going to see it all season. That was our one road course race. So it is ovals from here on out.
Oh, yeah, we got Portland.
Actually, yeah, I did not see Portland. All right, well, actually, I need to go get my glasses fixed probably. So don't listen to me. We'll see it again.
All right, folks. Well, from everybody here at the Elite Racing Network, everybody from the Infinity Graphics Design Sim Series, if you guys enjoyed, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. From everybody here at the Elite Racing Network, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.